Welcome, everyone, to the first ever SlabStox show. You've heard our voices across many different podcasts and YouTube videos in the past, SlabStox Lives. But today we are releasing our first ever show where Nate and I will come on once a week, and this will release every Thursday for you all to watch and get all the latest news, updates, market trends in the hobby. Nate, I'm pumped for this new show. Thanks for joining me. I know that Digging Corners is now not going to be its own standalone show, but I know we'll have plenty of Digging Corners information coming throughout the shows in the future too.
As somebody who struggles with off-season content because there's no baseball news, especially right now with the lockout, I welcome the change because that means I can talk about other things and not always baseball. Though I love baseball. I love baseball. It's nice to have a little breath of fresh air, talk about a little football, a little basketball,
Yeah,
because I like
absolutely.
all sports, just like you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, well, obviously you collect baseball cards mostly. I collect soccer cards mostly. I think we very much so look at all the different markets and how the prices move all the time. So it'll be fun for us to get out there and talk about everything in general. And I'm very excited for you all to be here. So come back every single week on Thursday on YouTube or on podcast to watch or listen to this episode. And we're going to be doing different segments. So each week we'll have a general news segment. We'll also have a different market trend segment, and then also a debate each week. And then we'll throw in different segments along the way. We'll do some mailbag. We'll do some community outreach. I'm very excited for this new show. And Nate, ready to jump in it with some general news?
Yeah. So this week for our general news, we've got two big acquisitions. So sometimes, general news might be a card, sometimes it might be a release, and there are some releases to talk about this week. But there was two huge acquisitions this week. One being Card Ladder, our friends at Card Ladder being acquired by PSA Collectors Universe, Nat Turner. It didn't give any prices on what they were collected or bought for, purchased for. But I assume it's a big amount, and congratulations to them. It'll be interesting to see what Collectors Universe, PSA, and Card Ladder can do together. I did see a funny meme by Lameme James where he said when the Card Ladder or when the PSA upcharge guy finds out that he's out of a job because of Card Ladder. So I am curious to see if they actually end up using it in that way. It was pretty funny though.
So
So shout
wait,
out Card Ladder for their being acquired, and then also Dibs.io. Dibs was acquired or raised
not
funding
acquired.
through Amazon, not acquired, but raised funding through Amazon. Again, no price on that bad boy. But it is interesting to see a major player like in Amazon get into the sports card space. Obviously, you can buy and sell cards on Amazon, but until this point, I hadn't heard anything like this. And Dibs.io is a fractional space where you can buy and sell fractions of cards. Amazon has gotten in on that. I am curious to see where they go from there with the backing of Amazon. Should be massive.
Yeah, very interesting. I want to go back really quick to your point about the upcharge at PSA because I'm not sure everyone knows what the upcharge is potentially at PSA. So for PSA, they have different levels of submissions based on the declared value of your card. And if you submit a card, let's say it's $5,000 card, you submit it through a submission tier like Express where you pay $150, but the maximum value is $2,500. If they see fit, they will upcharge your service level to the Super Express and charge you $300 for your card, and you don't have any say in if it does or if it doesn't. It's really up to them. And I submitted 4 Mbappe Silvers back when they were like $10 a piece. When I got them back, they were $4,000 PSA 10s. I submitted them at the $8 per grading or $10 per grading, and I didn't get upcharged. So I
Wow.
think that now going forward, if that were to happen in a similar situation, the old car ladder database would be like red flag, charge this guy $500 a card or something like that. But that is what it is for those who don't know. But Nate, thanks for giving us our weekly news. And now we will be talking about the power of the Pop One because we had 2 huge sales in the last month. The first one going through the PWCC fixed marketplace, it was a 2015 Revolution LeBron James Galactic case hit PSA 10. Now, this is a Pop 1, meaning there's only one PSA 10 in existence of this card, and there's only 3 total graded by PSA. I'm sure there's a few by Beckett, but these are extremely rare. It's probably one of the most sought-after non-numbered cards that Panini has put out there in their existence, because if you think about other non-numbered cards, you're probably going back to like 2012 Silvers. I can pretty much guarantee you a 2012 Silver LeBron PSA 10 is not selling for $60,000, which this Revolution Galactic PSA 10 sold for on November 10th, I think it was. And recently, a few days ago, the Stephen Curry Galactic PSA 10, it went onto eBay 2.5 weeks after the LeBron sold. I'm sure whoever owned it saw a $60,000 sale. Let me throw it on eBay auction. I think that it probably should have went somewhere like a high-end auction house, like a PWCC, and it ended up selling for $30,000 or $31,000 via eBay. So no slouch price at all. But the funny thing is that this card is also a pop one. These cards are so tough to grade, and there's only 3 graded total of Stephen Curry also through PSA. And I just think that's extremely newsworthy and noteworthy because these are most likely some of the highest selling non-numbered Panini NBA cards, non-rookie cards that there have been. Of course, you get the golds of 10 from 2012 Prism and 2013 Prism of these two guys that will probably rival these or far exceed them if it's a 2012 Prism gold. Like the LeBron at one point sold for 500,000 some dollars, if I remember correctly, through Golden months and months and months back. But the whole point is for a non-numbered case and insert, this is huge, huge sale prices. Nate, how many times we talk about the 15th year cards of Tom Brady selling for even $5,000, and now even a LeBron card from 2015 that sells for 60 grand.
This is my biggest pet peeve. You know it is.
I know it is.
I get that it's a super short print. I get it. I don't know how many there are, but I imagine there's probably 20 or less.
That's what I was thinking too.
And obviously PSA 10, they probably haven't all been pulled, and the PSA 10 even bumps up that 20 or less to one. Yeah. So I get why people want it, but man, there's a lot of cards I'd rather have for $60,000. A lot of other things I'd rather have for $60,000 than a 2015 Revolution. Was Revolution 2015 Revolution first year of Revolution?
Correct. So your first big rookie Galactics are Towns, Jokic, and Devin Booker. Okay. That set.
Because there was a box that sold December 1st of Revolution Hobby Basketball for $529, $530.
I'd buy that.
Feels like an absolute on eBay. There's no ones for sale right now, but that feels like an absolute steal considering you have a shot at potentially a $60,000 card. How often can you say that for that small of a price?
And for those wondering, like when I say case hit out of Revolution, I'm 99% sure that these were 1 per half case, and master cases were 16 boxes. And then within the 16 box master case, there are 2 inner cases at 8 boxes per case. I'm pretty sure you get 1 per 8 box case. While the odds aren't like fantastic to have your 1 box be the one out of the 8, and then if inside that box is a LeBron or Curry, still, I mean, you hit any notable player, and you're even Kevin Durant, you're talking multiple thousands of dollars. Anyone that is noteworthy in any regard is going to be probably $1,000 to $3,000 PSA 9 or 10, depending on how good the player is. You have Booker or Curry or LeBron or Towns or Jokic, and you're talking massive, massive, massive hit. But $550 doesn't seem bad at all, considering 2016 was what, Nate, like $350, $400 or some a box?
How much?
300 to 350. I mean, you don't have to look right now. I'm like 99% sure it is, but
something like that. Yeah. And how many boxes can you buy nowadays? I mean, last year's Prism football with gigantic checklist, $1,000 a box.
Yeah. Yep. And I think the other interesting point here is that these are super rare. So these are not like taken by the masses. It's not like that this is a majority driven card when we talk about like Prism Silvers. This is like a less than 1% of the buyers out there are buying these things. And I think for a long time you had huge Revolution Galactic collectors. I know of a few out there that just have massive, massive collections of these things. But to get to the point where you get one to sell for 60 grand, you need new people to come in and start buying them. And I'd be very intrigued to see what these 2 sales do to Revolution as a product in general, because I myself am a huge fan of Revolution. I actually think it's one of the best Panini basketball sets that they put out. I have a Karl Towns rookie autograph I've had for 4 or 5 years now because I love the set so much. Nate right there has got a Ben Simmons Infinite in front of him. And they're going to pull out our other special one.
Oh, well, I can. It wasn't on top of the pile, so.
And he's got DeJounte Murray Sunburst rookie out of 75 there. But man, I love the set, and I think it's going to get a lot of respect now from this. I think that there are a lot of new collectors that are like, oh, Revolution, gross. and stuff, and it just comes out early in the year, and it's not Prism Select or Optic. Now, I mean, I've been collecting for a long time, and I've been buying Revolution since 2016. I never ripped a 2015 box, but 2016 I did, and I love it. But I get why people don't like it too. You know how they are. When it comes to what sells for money, that's generally where people gravitate to, which we just talked about on Monday's YouTube Live with our voting for top brands. And Revolution wouldn't have even made the top 4 or 5 probably.
Get this, Aaron. I just put a Jaren Jackson Jr. Now I know Jaren Jackson hasn't been like the best player in his brief NBA career, mainly due to injuries. Though the Grizzlies are on a 5-game win streak, despite the fact that Ja Morant is out, which bears the question: is Ja Morant overrated?
I saw that. What was it? They've led for 20 quarters in a row without Ja Morant.
Of course, they played the Raptors without OG Anunoby. They played the Heat without Bam Adebayo, though they still had Jimmy Butler and Kyle
Yeah,
Lowry and Tyler Hero and those guys. They played the Mavericks without Luka, beat the Mavericks by 7
which
without
is a
Luka.
terrible team.
So yeah, so they're not exactly beating the cream of the crop here, but they are 5-0 without Ja Morant, which I do find interesting. But I digress. Jaren Jackson Jr. 2018 Revolution Cosmic number to 100 BGS 95. Put it in the budget section today. It's
No,
like
you didn't. How
$120
much is
card.
that? Like $100 and some dollars?
It's like $120.
Bro, I'd buy that all day.
I know. Like, seems like a great deal.
Hey, the
So if that's
Cosmics.
if these Revolution sales manage to prop up Revolution, I don't know if it will, because obviously there's a ton of cards in the hobby and these are just super, super rare. But if there is potential that this props up, then somebody like Jaren Jackson Jr., one of his better rookie Revolution cards, already graded BGS 95, $120, it seems like absolute steal.
Dude, not to mention silver PSA 10 pop of JJJ's over 1,000 for PSA 10s probably, or just right around there. I mean, Lucas is upwards of 2,000. Of course, Lucas super expensive, so more were graded, but that is like all day buy for me. And if I were to be an investor in basketball rookies, I would want, and I have looked into them. I have never really like went out there and bought a multi-$100 rookie of some of these guys just because I've been buying soccer cards. But your Trey, your Shea, those type of guys, man, I'd be looking all day at the Revolution numbered cards, because that is like, that's the highest numbered card out of 2018 Revolutions, Cosmic Ave 100. You've got a billion parallels in Prism. Why not get a better looking card that's more rare and cheaper?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. That's a good thought right there. But hey, enough of the Revolution talk, probably, because people are like, hey, let's get on a product that more people care about, which is Mosaic Basketball. Mosaic Basketball released the hobby version on Friday of last week. And we already have a lot of sales hitting eBay. And there's a lot of sales to talk about. So it did release on December 3rd. First off the line came up before that. First off the line has different swirl exclusives, which I think look ugly. I'll show them on the screen here for you as you're watching. Not a fan of the swirls at all. Pinks are numbered out of 11. And then LaMelo Ball, the first couple sales that came out, his base rookie card sold for $50. You could buy a Prism rookie card right now for $35. When 2020 Optic released the base rookies, the first sale was like $200, dude. Those things are like $15 to $20 right now. And
people like to waste their money.
Yeah, I mean, this happens every single release, no matter what sport it is. The first few cards just sell for stupid values, and then I make a post about it, and every single time I remind people, hey, don't buy right when products release. And then there's always those few people like, well, maybe they wanted to grade them and capture the better cards first. Well, there's definitely no saying that card you're buying just because it's first on eBay is a PSA 10 or anything. And even at that, once you grade it for now $150 a PSA, it's not even be worth probably the cost to grade one in like 2 months or a month. And just to speak about what the prices are selling for now. So LaMelo based rookies have fallen up to today, which is on December 7th, for $20 to $30 a base, which is still too high because of the simple fact that retail has not hit the shelves yet from what I'm aware, or at least it hasn't hit the shelves in large capacity at all. So imagine a $20 to $30 Mosaic LaMelo Ball rookie when like a handful of hobby boxes have been ripped between Friday and today. Now imagine 2 weeks later when all the more hobby boxes are ripped. All the breakers get their cases who don't get them on release day. All the retail gets released. Then the team all. Nate, what are we talking about? $5 Mosaic base rookie?
Probably less.
Probably
I
less.
guess if it's LaMelo, sure, but like,
yeah.
Look at what the select rookies of top NFL quarterbacks do. when
Yeah, I
they
mean, or even
overprinted it.
Anthony Edwards.
Yeah, and now look at what it does, and now add Mosaic on top of that. I can't imagine there's going to be much sustainability there.
Yeah, that's a good point. And his silver non-graded just sold the other day for $525. That was one of the only silver sales. Now, if you compare that to last year and look right now, I'm not saying look last year like when this set came out. John Morant's PSA 10 silver for Mosaic rookie, the last sale was $320 in auction. LaMelo's non-graded, just sold for $525, which is crazy. Now look back at the base rookie cards. Zion's PSA 10 base right now sells for $50. John Morant sells for $45 to $50. You're talking about like a $50 base PSA 10 when the first couple of this set started to sell for $50. Even the ones selling for $20, do not buy them. Do not spend $20 to $30 on Mosaic base LaMelo Ball rookie. I generally say, hey, do your own research and don't listen to what we say just with just hearing and going and doing it. But if you're gonna do anything, and listen to today's thing, is don't go and buy LaMelo Ball base rookie for $20 to $30 on Mosaic. I think they can pretty much certainly say that these will be half the value or less in 2 weeks' time. Someone even commented on the Instagram post and told me, hey, mark a reminder and update this post so you can try to prove what you said. I said, I already have proven what I've said with Hoops and Optic and Prism this year, but I'll do it again.
I like it.
And then there's more sales here that are just going to be, I guess, eye-popping to say the least. LaMelo Ball raw blue rookie number out of 99. Now, the blue rookies number out of 99 look great in Mosaic. I think they're really good-looking cards, but a LaMelo Ball just sold for $1,200 non-graded. On November 22nd, a John Morant blue out of 99 BGS 9.5 sold for $800. A 9.5. After grading, John Morant, who's been having a fantastic season, of course, he's been out for the last couple weeks. And I know that it's probably not the best to bring John Morant's name when Nate's like, oh, well, they've just won 20 straight quarters and beat 5 teams in a row, whatever.
Also,
but also
John Morant's net rating is like -7.
All right, whatever. John Morant.
Terrible defensively.
Yeah, but so is the other Trae Young and all those other guys that sell well in the hobby. You know, Trae Young's net rating in the last 3 years has probably been terrible too.
I'll let you know.
Nate will look as I speed more sales here. Zion PSA 9. Oh, sorry. Moving on to the next card. Now, this is the Anthony Edwards pink first off the line, numbered out of 11. The raw sold for $2,500. No, it did not sell. There is a raw one on auction that has that's at $2,500 with 1 day left. Nate, did you hear that? I know you're looking at something. There's a raw Anthony Edwards first off the line, pink swirl, numbered out of 11 on auction with a day left at $2,500 right now. Get this. A John Morant PSA 10 sold over the summer for $1,825. Zion's PSA 9 sold on May 9th for $980. There's
Pink
a
swirl?
raw,
Pink swirl?
Yeah, all of them are numbered out of 11. There's a raw Edwards at $2,500. A National Pride, the subset, pink of 11 sold for $3,000 on December 5th of Anthony Edwards. The one out of the subset.
Goodness gracious.
Oh my goodness gracious. I love Anthony Edwards more than a lot of people out there maybe. I mean, I know a lot of people like him. I'm a huge fan, and I just am just baffled by that. There's also a Mosaic LaMelo Ball gold auto numbered out of 10, which is currently at, what is that at? It's at 5,900 right now with the day left. It is a live autograph, though. Most of his autographs are redemptions, but those are live. And I am just like, holy cow. These sale prices and bids right now are so big on this set. And coming up, really by the time you watch this episode on Thursday, it's going to be the day before, Panini 1-in-1 basketball releases, which I think is a great set. I also wouldn't recommend buying those within the first week or two after the boxes are open. But it's a great set. High-end cards, big inserts, big insert autographs, on-card patch autographs. I think if you're going to take your money anywhere in the month of December and buy new basketball rookies, which are actually old basketball rookies, considering we're in the 2021 season now, and these are LaMelo Ball and Anthony Edwards rookies, I would take your money and buy 1-in-1 versus Mosaic. And whenever Nate gets his Trae Young stats, you can throw them out here so he can join the discussion again.
Oh, I have him.
Right.
Trae Young.
He thought he had him.
Well, he's negative. The page is being wacky now, but he was like negative 6.9 this year net rating and negative 4 point something last year, but then positive the 2 years before that.
Interesting. Interesting. And last year, I'd say he gained more market value than ever, probably.
Yep. Well, John Morant's gained more market value this year than probably ever.
Exactly.
But
That is true.
it is interesting that when he's on the court, they basically lose 7 points per. They lose 7 points. Like they give up
Yeah,
7 more
yeah,
points
yeah. I
defensively
mean,
than they do gain offensively.
well, so should Bobby Portis be worth more than John Morant now?
You know what I'm saying? All I'm saying is it's interesting. It's
I
interesting.
know. I'm just trying to make you. I'm just trying to make something out of nothing. All right, but back to the Mosaic thing. I I was a big advocate for Mosaic last year because it was in its first year of its own brand. Panini used to do Prism Mosaic from 2016 to 2018, so 3 years, and then they'd start to Panini Mosaic in 2020. And I was trying to look back at the trends of Prism Select and Optic, and it really took until the third year for most of those sets to take off. So we were in the first year last year. I was thinking, all right, get in early. They just released the Genesis Parallel for retail, which I think that's huge because whenever you can apply a chase card to retail that isn't like overproduced, it makes people want to buy it. It makes it valuable. And I thought that was really smart. I thought the stained glass inserts were really smart in the hobby, making another chase card. And then this year came out during the 2021 season after a quarter of it. And I think, at least for now in the short term, it's really killed the Mosaic proposition because I think Nate was maybe in the same boat. I loved Mosaic football. Mosaic football had like a 100 card checklist, right? Compared to like a 300 card checklist for Prism.
And it was like, what, 30 rookies, 35 rookies?
Yeah. And it was the first set that released outside of your Prism draft picks and stuff like that. It was the first major set of the year that released for football. And I scooped up a couple of Jonathan Taylor rookies. We ripped a ton of Mosaic Cellos, and I really loved the product. And I thought it was a really great timing for people to actually be able to buy rookie cards of players who are early in their career that you can buy, flip, grade, whatever it is. When it's like the last product of the year that comes out right before Immaculate and Flawless and 1-1, there is no desire for this. It's like you already have all your Prism, Optic, Select, Contenders. All that stuff has been released. And then you have Mosaic.
So you're saying Mosaic is a nice appetizer, not a nice dessert?
That is 100% what I'm saying. If this was the first product release of the year, like if this release was the 2021 Mosaic Cade Cunningham first Pistons rookie and Jalen Suggs' first Magic rookie, I think we'd be talking about this in a completely different way than if it comes out after all the major products and into the next season. I know COVID production issues pushed all the releases back, but either way, it's just too late. And I think that the attention span is going to be next to nothing for this. I really worry for people spending all this money on these rookie cards this year specifically. If you're buying 2019 rookies at like a really good floor right now, I wouldn't be as worried about that. I'm more worried about these new cards releasing right now that are probably way overproduced, too much condition issues, and I really think that it's probably a big pass for me as of right now. If you go 3 months from now and you're trying to scoop cards on the cheap, maybe send some to SGC, see if you can make $50 here, $60 there. Seems like a way better proposition because there are going to be cards out there you can't grade. I would really ignore this set until, I think once 2021 Prism releases, like the new guys, like Cade's first Pistons Prism rookie. If you look back at this set and you can grab LaMelo Silver rookies for like, this sounds crazy right now, but it might not be that crazy 4 months from now for like $75, $60, $75. And then right now they're $550. Buy it, grade it, see if you can get a 10. Make like $100 through SGC grading. Like that makes sense to me. Does it not to you?
Yeah. I mean, if big if the value drops low, but you got to imagine you're correct. Once the new class comes in, and Cade played well, and Cade played really well last night. 28 points, like 11 rebounds, 5 assists, something like that.
Yeah.
Was amazing last night. Been amazing his last 4 games. No longer a bust. People declared him a bust after 3 games. Can confirm, no longer a bust.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that just stupid?
That's a little tongue in cheek for me because I was irritated by the fact that people would watch a guy that just came off an injury, played his first 2 career games, and was really bad. historically bad offensively as a number one pick, but still, new league, injury, all that, and he was instantly a bust. Like there's no wait period for anybody anymore. If you're not Juan Soto instantaneously, you're trash.
Do you remember when Wander Franco was a bust too?
Yeah, Wander Franco was a bust. Vlad was a bust. Otani bust. So it's like you got to give people time. You had to give Cade time. Cade has been given time. He didn't even need that much time, and now he's a stud. And so and I know he plays for the Pistons, and that's kind of disappointing, but when his new cards come out, I think you hit it on the head. These Mosaic cards will be left in the dust. Nobody will care because they're not the new thing. LaMelo is not the new thing. Anthony Edwards is not the new thing. It is Cade Cunningham.
Right. I agree with that. And last point on the Mosaic discussion, we'll move on with today's episode into the trending players and cards segment is the Mosaic stained glass from this set. Nate, I know you've seen them. I've seen them. I'll put them on the screen right now for everyone else to see. The 2019 set had a design like a cathedral, as Nate said before the episode. 2020 is literally just like the full stained glasses behind the card. I don't know. I think it's probably a personal preference thing. I feel like this year's design versus last year's. But what I do know is I read, and this is just something I read. This is like when Nate's talking about, he sees a rumor about MPJ. I read that these things are way more frequently hit this year than last year. And we've only seen 5 to 6 days of product released and ripped and listed on eBay. But there's already been 8 listed on eBay currently right now as of this recording of Luka, and 7 that have sold. Now, they started selling around $750, and very quickly the auctions have now dropped to $430 on this year's Mosaic stained glass of Luka. Last year's 2019, the raw currently sells for $375. The PSA 10 sells for $850. Now, if you know how the market works, generally speaking, a second-year card is going to outsell a third-year card. Really, no matter what it is, depending on if it's a similar comparison. I'm not talking about like a 1 of 130 versus a silver second year. Obviously, that's different. But this is a similar comparison. And right now, the 30-year Luka stained glass is outselling the raw from the second year by $70. And the more they get ripped, the more it get released, the further these are going to fall. If a PSA 10 second year selling for $850, and this is the first year Mosaic stained glass last year, so a little bit different too, man, you gotta wait to buy. Nate, what do you think on the design? Which year do you like more?
You know what it looks like to me?
What?
The Jam Masters from last year?
I was literally just gonna say that. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
that's why. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say it looks like they just took that graphic and made it more stained glass and call it a day.
Yeah, and I actually thought when I saw the first Mosaic stained glass from last year from this year that it wasn't the case hit stained glass. Now they forced it to be stained glass. The Mosaic Jam Masters looks like it because of the mosaic pattern on it. It's not because it's got the stained glass design in it. But either way, interesting, and we'll see how they perform going throughout the year. Nate, any last thoughts on Mosaic?
It's a nice appetizer, but you're right. And I will admit, if I walk into Target or Walmart or Walgreens, Dollar Tree, any place that has cards nowadays, Hobby Lobby, Casey's General Store. Can I come up with any more off the top of my head? Oh, I saw some
Meyer
Pokemon tins in Hy-Vee the other day.
Oh man.
Wherever you walk in, if I were to walk past Mosaic, I'd still buy it.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
And so
it's retail pricing.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I see it and it's out there and it's retail, I'm still gonna buy it no matter what it is, unless it's like NBA hoops.
Yeah.
So I guess from that standpoint, I'm all for Mosaic.
But from the standpoint of buying singles, you're so far out.
Yeah.
Same. Time for some who's hot, who's not. So we've got 2 players say, one that's hot, one that's not, of course. And Nate, who is the hot player of the week?
The snake himself, Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant is as hot as any. Well, Steph Curry. Steph Curry's hot, though. This last week was a little tough for him because he went up against Mikal Bridges and the Suns, and Mikal is in a world of his own defensively. But Kevin Durant is as hot as anybody. He is playing as well as he ever has at age 33, 28.6 points a game, 7.7 rebounds, 5.5 assists. Impressive. What's more impressive, he's a big game hunter. So he's played 4 games on Sundays this year. And he's averaging
That's a lot.
31.3 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4.8 assists, and averaging a plus minus of 17.2, an offensive rating of 133, and a defensive rating of 108. By far the best day of his week,
So
Sundays.
you're telling me a list of your Kevin Durant cards that end on a Sunday that he plays?
Yep, pretty much. He plays really well on Sundays and really poorly on Tuesdays. He has a 107 offensive rating on Tuesdays and a 121 defensive rating.
Dang, that's crazy. That's
Yep.
crazy. Is that all the stats you got for me?
That's what I got.
That's what Nate's got. That's the stat section. So it's 2007 Topps Chrome Refractor rookie numbered out of 1,499 BGS 9.5. Recently sold for $10,000 on November 30th. That is up 20.48% over the last month. So hottest player in the NBA, around there, and his high end refractor rookie 9.5 has moved up 20% in the last month, which is substantial. That's a lot, and that is the hot player.
I would be curious to see if we can go back and see sales of this and see what it does on days where he played on a Sunday and had a really good game, and days where he plays, and see sales on other days where he doesn't, and see if there's any correlation.
I think that we have Nate's next Instagram post, Kevin Durant's Sunday feast.
Yeah, I like it.
He'll
I
go
gotta
back
imagine
and
that'd
look.
be a real pain in the butt to figure out.
Have fun. All right. Well, for the not player, we're deviating from basketball, moving to football. I haven't talked about a whole lot of football today, but dude, this guy has been pretty brutal along with the whole team this year. Daniel Jones is the not player of the week. Nate, why is he the not? Give me the stats.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
How many touchdowns does Jonathan Taylor have this year?
Just gonna guess like 16 total.
I believe it is 18. I didn't look it up. I saw it yesterday. I'm pretty sure it was 18.
That's a lot.
Daniel Jones in the last 2 years, in a combined 25 games, has thrown 21 touchdowns.
Dude, JT's gonna pass that one season.
JT has a real possibility of having more. Now, this doesn't include rushing touchdowns. Daniel Jones is fast, and he does probably have a few rushing touchdowns. He has 3 rushing touchdowns in the last 2 years, 5 rushing touchdowns in his career, and 45 passing touchdowns in his career. So 50 total touchdowns in a 3-year career from a starting QB who's started in 37 games.
That's not great.
That's bad. That's real bad. And he has 29 interceptions along with how many fumbles? How many fumbles? There's no way that's
What?
that can't be real.
Or it might be.
No, because it says he had 19 fumbles his first year. I refuse to believe that.
19?
Yeah, that's what it's saying.
That could be real. I heard he's got
Butterfingers.
Well, are you going to verify for us?
No, it says number of times fumbled, both lost and recovered by own team. These represent all fumbles by the player on offense, defense, and special teams. 19 his rookie season, 10 his second season, 7 this season, 36 fumbles. Not all lost, but 36 fumbles total.
That's bad. That's really bad.
36 fumbles, 29 interceptions to only 50 touchdowns.
That's terrible. And as are his card prices. I don't know if anyone remembers, but every single year before the season, everyone loves to go and find that third-year quarterback that's potentially going to turn their career around. And if they do, their prices go up. Well, Daniel Jones has only been worse or just as bad, whatever you want to say. And the most recently sold 2019 Prism Silver PSA 10 as of today sold for $86 on eBay. It's an 84% loss over the last 3 months.
Oof. I can't believe you can get a starting QB in the National Football League PSA 10 silver for $86.
And that's not like a basketball silver. These in Prism Hobby football, they're far more rare than the basketball.
Blows my mind. You know what? What else blows my mind is that people spent a lot of money on Sam Darnold and Daniel Jones going into the season, and all they had to do was spend it on Kyler Murray.
Yep.
It that's the thing I hate about football. I like football, but football cards, it's so quarterback driven, and you can lose so much money if you pick the wrong quarterback. If you pick the right Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, somebody like that, you can hit it huge, obviously, but there's so little room for you to hit the right guy. Like you have very few choices every year on hitting the right guy, and the rest of it, and a ton of choices on hitting the wrong guy. Whereas baseball, basketball, you can make a ton of plays and gain money on almost all of them.
Yeah, there's just not enough diversity when it comes to making money,
And I'm
so to
I'm
speak.
sure somebody's watching this right now and saying, "What about wide receivers? What about running backs?"
JT, baby. Jonathan
There is
Taylor.
money to be made. Aaron can attest to that with Jonathan Taylor, but it's like you can make money this year. Is it likely Aaron's going to be able to make money on Jonathan Taylor next year once you've already made money on him?
Probably not.
Probably not.
I agree. I mean, I don't disagree with that about the whole running back wide receiver thing. Yeah, football is not a market I'd want to be in, because even if you go with the safe young option in Patrick Mahomes, you lose a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, who this year has gained their investor money? Kyler Murray, maybe Tom Brady, which seems impossible to say.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Burrow probably made people money at one point, but then they dropped a lot after they rose so much.
Yeah. So it's
The
so
odds are just so
hit or miss.
bad. The odds
What?
are so. I said the odds are so bad. Justin Herbert probably made money too, if you're thinking about another
That's
guy.
true.
But it's not great. It's not great. If you pick Mahomes over Herbert, you're just like double down. Then
If you
I know
picked
that's a short term scope, but
if you picked Tua or Jalen Hurts over Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, there was a time you could have made money on Jalen Hurts, but now there's quarterback controversy in Philadelphia.
yeah,
Gardner Minshew had a decent game, threw for 200 some yards, 2 touchdowns, won him a game, obviously against the Giants, or the Jets. Sorry, but it's you have multiple options every year, and very easily the ability to choose the wrong options constantly, especially because it's usually the cheap guys, the Jalen Hurts, the Tuas that people choose because they're cheap. They don't blow up. Whereas Joe Burrow's not cheap because he's the number one pick, and Justin Herbert's not cheap because he was dominant last year.
yep, I agree with that. I agree with that. All right, Nate, let's get on to our debate here, talking about two other cards that have fallen in value. Nate's going to lead this one, and I have no idea what we're about to talk about, but let's do it.
All right. So the debate today is this. I've got two young players. Now, 5 years difference. Jayson Tatum is 23 and Anthony Davis is 28. But considering it's Anthony Davis, I will accept the 5-year age difference as being equal because, again, we're talking about Anthony Davis and we're talking about the Lakers. So we've got two cards here. Jayson Tatum 2017 Prism Silver PSA 10 and Anthony Davis Prism Silver PSA 10. Now, obviously, the pop reports on these bad boys are not going to be the same because Prism Silvers in 2012 significantly rarer than Prism Silvers in 2017. 2017 Prism Silvers significantly rarer than Prism Silvers in 2020, and so on down the line. But Jayson Tatum, since last year, now these prices are going from 12.6 to 12.6. They've dropped 61% from $3,350 down to $1,313 for the last sale. So 61% change, a $2,000 drop. Anthony Davis, only 4 sale points in the last year for his Prism Silver, but he's dropped 77%, and it has gone from almost 25 grand down to $5,750. Now, 25 grand is astronomically high. I get that it's a $19,000 difference, which is way bigger than a $2,000 difference or change. But the percent changes are within like 15% here. So bear with me. If you had to bet on one of these guys bouncing back, not getting back to where they were, because Anthony Davis is not going to get to 25,000, and it's unlikely that Jayson Tatum gets back up to 3350. If you had to bet on one of these young guys bouncing back, who would you bet on?
So
Now, there's a couple. What?
I was about to say, are you telling me like, oh, I can buy like whatever it is, like 4 Jayson Tatums to 1 Anthony Davis?
Correct. But let me give you more information here.
Yes, sir.
Boston is 13-11. Obviously, making the playoffs is important. Boston is 13-11, but there are a grand total of 10 teams over 500. Cleveland and Atlanta are out of the playoffs currently at 13-12. So it's very possible that if Boston does not pick it up, they could have a winning record and not be in the playoffs. On the Western side, the Lakers are 12-12 in the 7th seed at 500. Dallas is 500 in the 6th seed. Denver is below 500 in the 8th seed at 11-12. I find it unlikely that the Lakers miss the playoffs because there's just not that many good teams. Maybe a team like Minnesota or Portland hit their stride and take out the Lakers, who are old and injured and COVID concerns all over the place. But it's likely that the Lakers don't miss the playoffs. So keep that in mind. Celtics potential to miss the playoffs. Lakers probably not going to happen. Now, for their stats, this is where it gets interesting. So Jayson Tatum is averaging 25 points a game.
He's been on fire recently.
8.8 rebounds and 3.7 assists. Overall, numbers look good. Prices are dropping. But when you dig a little bit deeper, the stats aren't great. So I have some notes on my phone here that I'm going to read off to you. So overall stats look really good. 25 points a game, 8 rebounds, 3.5 assists, almost a steal, and almost a block a game.
Nate's about to go like full on analytics guy on us.
Nice numbers. But he's shooting 40% from the field. He's shooting 32%, by far a career low. Both of those career lows. 32% on 8 threes a game. And shooting 83% from free throw, which is right around his career average. Tatum, though, is 333rd out of 453 qualified players in expected field goal percentage. 333rd. He is 290th out of 458 players in true shooting percentage. But he is 7th in usage percentage. So some of that, SlabStox Sam, if he was still with us, RIP, he didn't actually die. He's just not doing SlabStox stuff anymore. He would know how to quantify these better than I. But he obviously shoots a ton. And if he had a little bit less, lower usage percentage, maybe his true shooting percentage and effective field goal percentage would go up. He is also 142nd in net rating with a +4. So keep that in mind. And a 108.9 offensive rating and a 104.9 defensive rating. So 333rd in effective field goal percentage and 290th in true shooting percentage paints a picture that even though he is getting his points and his rebounds and his assists, he is not doing it very effectively.
Can I bring up a devil's advocate like Nate always does to me?
Yeah.
So I don't have the stats in front of me, but I have tracked his box scores throughout the last couple months. And is there something to be said for his start to the season was way worse than the last like month and a half has been? We're only a quarter of the way through the season. Because
I can get you his splits. So
because I know in the last month he's been far better than he was the month before.
Correct. Well, so in October he shot 427% from 3 and 78% from free throw. November, and I don't have a week by week value here, just the month. So he probably started slow in the beginning of November and got hot end of November. He shot 393 from field goal, 336 from 3-point. So still not good, and averaged 23.3 points a game. But then in 3 games in December, he's shooting 48% from the field, 36% from 3, and 96% from free throw, while averaging 31 points a game, 10 rebounds, and 3 assists.
So realistically, I mean, some of that stuff's unsustainable. Like he's not going to average 31 points a game the rest of the year, probably.
Well,
but he could.
He's got the talent if he gets the shots up and actually makes them. I mean, he's 7th in usage percentage, but his true shooting and his effective field goal percentage were bad, or expected field goal percentage. And so,
Well, let's move on to Anthony Davis's stats because we've just spent Oh, and 10 probably want Tatum now.
Yeah. And we have to move to Anthony Davis so that we can compare the two.
Yeah.
Anthony Davis averaging 24 points a game, so about a point less than Jayson Tatum. He's averaging 10 rebounds, which is about 2 less than Jayson Tatum, or 1.2 less, and he's averaging 3 assists, which is like an assist less than Tatum, or half an assist less than Tatum. So again, 25, 10, and 3, along with a steal and 2 blocks a game is pretty good. Shooting 52% from the field, which is above his career average. Good. But here comes the iffy things here, and I have his other stats, but he was kind of fine in effective field goal percentage at 176th, 169th in true shooting percentage, and 31st in usage percentage. His net rating is 308th out of 476 qualified players at negative 4.3. Now, LeBron is negative 0.8, and he's 250th out of 476. So the Lakers as a total are 22nd in net rating. I said to myself, well, maybe it's not really Anthony Davis's fault. Maybe they're just a bad defensive team, and he just kind of gets stuck down with it. But then I looked at Anthony Davis's offensive and defensive rating compared to the Lakers, and Anthony Davis' offensive rating was 105.3 compared to the Lakers' 106.9. So he was worse. He has a worse offensive rating than the Lakers team does, which means that he's bringing down the Lakers average as opposed to propping it up. And then also he has a 109.6 defensive rating. The Lakers had a 108.6, which means he is raising the Lakers defensive rating, which is bad. A high defensive rating is bad, as opposed to lowering it. So what it looks like to me, and I could be wrong on this, it looks like to me is that Anthony Davis has been a bad player this year. Getting his points, getting his rebounds and stuff, but a really bad defender and not as good of an offensive player as you'd expect for somebody who is a center. A lot of dominant centers in the league will shoot better than 52%. Now, they don't all shoot threes, but he's shooting a measly 19% from 3, which is really bad. And something else interesting here is that if I can find his shooting section, he is shooting 33 or 34% from 10 to 16 feet and 19% from 3-point range, but 45% from 16 feet to 3-point range. So like very long range twos, he's shooting 45%, but those mid-range twos and threes, he's performing really poorly below career averages. So either what I'm trying to get to, and I know there's a lot of stats and I get that, what I'm trying to get at is that either he switches what he's doing and starts taking more mid-range twos instead of threes and focusing around the basket, and he should go up, or you just kind of expect him to not keep shooting so poorly from 3 and his percentages should go up and he should have a boost in value there. So Tatum, poor shooting. Anthony Davis, poor shooting. The potential for the Celtics to miss the playoffs, probably not a huge potential for the Lakers to miss the playoffs. Who would you rather have, 4 Tatums or 1 Anthony Davis?
I feel like I was asked that question like 15 minutes ago.
I know, but I had to get through the stats.
I'm just messing around. I appreciate the stats. It's good stuff. Not everyone knows any of that because I didn't know. I mean, I knew some of it offhand, but so here's the thing. If I'm buying a player right now, if I'm buying like one $5,000 card, I'm taking Tatum. For the reasons that, one, he's a lot younger and just
5 years.
It generally goes that your market hits peaks not multiple times throughout a career when you like do good things, I guess, so to speak. Like we talked about this with Jimmy Garoppolo, right? Like his time's done. And everyone knows that now. But you had to sell when you could. Now, Anthony Davis is a different player. Of course, he's a top 10, 15 talent, whatever people want to say. We've had this debate many times. But the 2012 Prism Silver PSA 10s, like I looked up, it's a Pop 32 and it's from the first Prism set ever. And there's no way I'm not taking that versus 4 Jayson Tatum's where there's thousands of them. I'm just not. But if I were to pick one $5,000 card, I'm going and finding the best Jayson Tatum $5,000 card I can because here's the thing too. I think it matters a lot for like if you're the leader of a team and you play well and you take your team far, your cards go up a lot. Think of a Giannis. Now Giannis is better than these guys by far. We all know that. But Anthony Davis, when LeBron's been out, it seems he's not going to be the guy that's going to take him to be a number 1 seed or number 2 seed or go take him to the finals. And even if LeBron retires in like 3 to 4 years, by that time, are people really like going to be like buying up Anthony Davis when he's like over 30? Like, oh man, this guy's the leader of the team. Now, Kevin Durant, people are, so maybe I'm wrong, but Kevin Durant also has led the team in scoring like 4 times before this point.
Kevin Durant is an animal to his own.
Exactly.
Anthony Davis has literally no shot of being Kevin Durant level player.
Yeah, and that's my point, is that there's like not many. You got to be like in these buckets of players, like where you're like the best scorer like KD, or you're the best all around like Giannis, or you're like the young guy who's going to take your team to the next step, like a Tatum potentially. And if you're not those guys, I just don't see a whole lot of upside, and that's where I'm at with Anthony Davis. But looking at 25K dropping to 5K makes me want to buy that card.
Yeah, and that's why I bring it up, because I mean it's interesting. They're both somewhat young, but Anthony Davis is clearly not the face of his franchise. It's LeBron. He also clearly isn't trying on defense, because I thought he was a good defender and younger in his career, and he's bad this year.
Bro, people actually had the audacity to tweet out with their thumbs and put it on the internet, Anthony Davis is a better defender than Giannis within the last like 2 years. They've said that. I've read that.
Not this year. Not with that defensive rating. 109.6, worse than the Lakers team defensive rating. So he's not the face. You're correct. He can't try defensively. His offensive rating isn't that good. The Steph Currys of the world have like a 115 offensive rating. Kevin Durant has like a 113. Jayson Tatum had a 108. Anthony Davis had a 104, which is still above league average, but not great, not spectacular. And some of that has to do with the shooting percentages. So all of that, along with his age, makes me want to go towards Jayson Tatum and the four silvers. But I agree, the 2012 Prism set, which I'm not a big believer in first year Prism this, first year Prism that, mainly because I missed out on the Messi and Ronaldo 2014 Prism thing that you told me to do and I didn't do. So now I'm a doubter forever. You have that little glimmer, that first year Prism, the pop report,
and it's a silver.
And it's silver, and the chance that, maybe LeBron leaves when Bronny Jr. gets there, or something happens with LeBron where he doesn't want to play on the Lakers anymore, and it's Anthony Davis's team. There is a shot there. But for me, I just think it's way too much of a risk when you can look at Jayson Tatum and say, his team, for sure, playoff team, but then you get to the point where, are we kind of seeing what the Celtics are?
Yeah,
they've kind of been the same thing for years.
I feel like it's hard for the Celtics. I think need to move on probably from Jaylen Brown and get someone that complements Tatum better more for them to actually become a top 3 contender in the East. They're not going to get there with the current format. We've already seen that. It's not like they changed anything drastically this year. I mean, Tatum, I think, is getting better and will get better, but that's not going to probably be enough to bring him up into that Bucks, Heat, Nets area.
So if they get somebody that better complements Jayson Tatum, is it then Jayson Tatum that complements the better player?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think we've had that debate about like Pascal Siakam. Remember when Kawhi left and he just wasn't nearly as good as when he was the complementing player? I don't think it's the same thing though. Tatum's proven that he's good enough to.
No. What I'm trying to say is, what happens if they get a player that's so good it's no longer Jayson Tatum's team?
You're saying that we're right back to where like Anthony Davis is with LeBron?
Yeah.
It's a fair point. I mean, but then again, I also don't think that winning is everything. And I think it's the same thing like in baseball. You don't have to be on a big market team to make money in your investment. If you can lead a team and you can be dominant and you can actually like change in some sort of the trajectory of where the team's going, it doesn't matter if you win the whole thing. Now it does maybe in a global aspect.
Like if the Mets do anything this year with Max Scherzer leading that rotation, Jacob deGrom obviously, but Max Scherzer Max Scherzer card prices are probably going to pop off because he will be the focal point to why the Mets were successful.
Yeah, and they don't need to win the World Series for Max Scherzer to gain value this year.
Yeah, but they'll have to make the playoffs.
Yes,
but it won't be Jacob deGrom getting getting the credit, even though he probably deserves it. It'll be Max Scherzer because he's the new face. And there's potential that if they do bring in somebody new, if the Celtics are who the Celtics are, and they go out and get a Ben Simmons or somebody like that, and that person comes in and they all of a sudden are a really good team, that new person is going to get all the credit. Now, this is a very hypothetical situation, but
I was going to say we don't know what's going to happen.
That's what debates are. You try to think of situations where you could find value boost or value lost. And
so we're in the mindset that 2012 Prism, Davis, silver over 4, Tatum, silver, PSA 10s. But if we had to pick one $5,000 card, we're both taking a Tatum card right now.
You're in the mindset of the 2012. I don't believe in the first year Prism. I'm taking the 4 Tatums.
You just bait and switched me. I swear you just said it.
No, I was giving both points of view, but I'm still on since we don't know if Tatum's going to get a new player, and we do know that they are currently probably a better team than the Lakers. Just from like a Lakers are 500 and they look pretty old, and I don't think they're going to make much noise in the playoffs no matter what. And you have Jayson Tatum, who's 5 years younger. I think I can make more money in the short term buying the 4 Tatums than the 1 Anthony Davis.
I mean, I think it's really close. Like, I'm not sold on myself taking the Anthony Davis. I'm literally just taking it because it's a 2012 Silver Prism PSA 10.
Yeah. Well, I have a question for you. What do you think hits first? Anthony Davis to $8,000 or wait, $9,000? Anthony Davis was $5,000, right? Anthony Davis to $9,000 or each Tatum silver getting to $2,000?
Yeah. I mean, that's a great question.
I feel like it's a lot easier. I feel like it's a lot easier for Tatum to get to 2,000 than Anthony Davis to get back to 9.
Not to mention they're all cheaper too, so it's easier to get a price increase on a cheaper card. Yeah. I mean, that's a great point. If you're asking me from the pure money making standpoint, I might go with the Tatums like you just said because it's a great point. And that was a very good last point there to just persuade me. But I think if I'm like sticking something in my collection box, it's going to be the 2012 Prism Silver Davis, even though I'm not a huge fan of him at all. And hey, one more point that we didn't even bring up. You say it all the time. Best ability is availability. That guy gets injured a lot, especially around playoff time. So if you're not on the court when it matters the most, Anthony Davis I'm talking about, it's a whole other factor.
Here you go. Anthony Davis, 56 games out of 82 possible in 2018, 62 games in 2019 out of 72 possible. I think they only played 72 because of the weird COVID starting. 36 also out of 72 last year.
Yeah, he was pretty hurt last year,
I think. And now 23 games, probably out of a possible 23. So at least he's been healthy this year, but he has yet to play. He played 75 games back-to-back years and didn't crack 70 any of the other years. So he does miss at least like an eighth of the season every year.
I would have to say that that's a lot of a reason too why this thing was dropped to $5,000. I mean, just like Kyrie Irving's drop. You want to see the guy play. You don't want to see the guy sit on the sidelines.
Correct. Even if they're amazing and have won championships.
Yeah.
It's what have you done for me lately, not what have you done in the past. Unless you are retired and go to the Hall of Fame, then it's what have you done in the past.
Or if you're LeBron and miss half a season, that doesn't really matter a whole lot either.
Yeah.
But that's LeBron, not Anthony Davis.
I mean, Anthony Davis doesn't have a shot to be Kevin Durant, and Kevin Durant doesn't have a shot to be LeBron, you know.
Exactly. All right, time to wrap up this episode with a mailbag question.
Sure.
I appreciate the debate, Nate. Nice research. Good stuff there.
I will admit, he was a little bit of a doubter going in.
I was doubting because I opened up the note sheet and all there is just the sale prices of the two cards. And I'm like, what are we going to talk about? He was ready. Nate was ready.
I was ready. Also, if that was way too much, too many stats, somebody let me know in the comments and I will dumb it down next week.
Yeah, we'll peel it back to have the 2 most important stats per player, which we maybe should do anyways, but that's okay. We're
You
all
know
learning
me,
as
I
we
like
go
my
here.
stats. I like
Yeah,
painting a
Nate
picture.
does love his stats. He's read off more stats to me than I could ever say anyone else has probably read off, and I'd say 80% of them, pew, right over the head.
You know how you like art
Yes,
somewhat? You like pottery. You're a great potter.
yes, I like art.
Um and painting pictures, right? That's what stats do for me. I'm not a huge art guy. I like it somewhat. I like the pictures behind me, I guess. But I'm not a huge art guy. But when you get a bunch of stats together and you can start piecing them together and being like, oh, this is this, and this is this. And I'm a lot better at it at baseball than I am at basketball. Basketball, I need a lot of work still. But you start painting pictures of guys and what they're doing right, what they're doing wrong with this, as opposed to just looking at baseline stats, which I think is cool.
I agree. I agree with that. Nice job. All right, we got our mailbag question here. We'll keep this a little bit short because we have one quite substantially long today, which is fine. First episode.
First
We'll see how it goes. And we've got a question here from Card Collector 8117 on Instagram. What value do you think card shows hold in the hobby, the pros and the cons? Which is a good question because this very well could have been, what's your favorite part about a card show, which is easy to answer. But once you ask pros and cons, then there's obviously something that's wrong with them, which there is actually problems that come with card shows too, more so than just all the great things about card shows, which is amazing things. So it's probably my favorite thing about the hobby, not going to lie. Been going to them since I was 10 years old, yada, yada, yada. People have heard the story. And I just love them. I still do them to this day. I go with my dad, and it's amazing. And Nate comes a lot too. Very fun. I'm gonna give my pros and cons quick because I don't think I need to be long winded with this.
Okay.
Pros: you get to interact with people in person, which is big. For the last 2 years, I think people mostly sat there on the computer buying cards. Once you start to get in person with people, meet the people you're talking to, do some buys and sales in person, and do some trades. It's just a lot more fun, and it's a great time. And you also make a lot of memories. Like I don't remember, other than now with PWCC, because it's really fun buying cards on their auction. I have a great time doing that. I don't remember like probably 99.99% of the cards I bought on eBay. But at the card show, I remember a lot of cards I bought at card shows. Number 2 is take some time, dig for some deals, and you get some good deals. It's a lot better, I'd say, than buying on eBay. Like I'd say over the last like 6 months, if you look at like the amount of money I spent on eBay, this is not including wax or boxes for breaks, specifically cards, and then the amount that I spent on card shows, it is so different. Probably the most different it's been in the last 3 years for myself. And that leads to my con is that when people go and take all their money to card shows where sales aren't tracked and don't spend the money on eBay, the secondary market is affected. And I would venture to guess that it's one of the 3 biggest reasons why over the last 8 months, and especially the high pop stuff specifically, because once you go to a card show and you actually visibly see every single person there have the same exact card, it makes you not want it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Secondary market values have dropped a lot in the high pop regard over the last 8 months. If you look at the high end, cards and the ones players are doing well or they're just scarce, like, yeah, those cards are still doing very well. The market's still very healthy in my mind, but it has adversely affected a lot of secondary market values for that reason. So it's a pro and a con because I love spending money at card shows. But on the flip side, when you take that money off of eBay, the stuff sells for less and the cards become less valuable because people start to base it off of eBay. And whatever other sale platforms are, PWCC. And those are my, I think, two pros. So many memories, so many great times with other people, good deals. If you do the work, you can't walk up to someone and expect you to hand you $100 off coupon for a card. And then the con is the adverse effect on the secondary market value for those people that do sit at home and buy on eBay. But they could present for good deals. Like if you're at home during the national and you track eBay auctions, probably could have gotten some good deals.
Yeah. I appreciate you saying that about the you walk around a card show and notice everyone has the same card, because when you're on eBay and you see, 6 Fernando Tatis Topps Chrome PSA 10s ending in a day, you don't really think about it. You just scroll past whatever. But then when you're at a show and all of a sudden everyone and their mom has the same cards at every booth and then has a few different cards, it's like, I've seen this before. I've seen this before. So my con, I have 2 cons. One would be it gets a little bit boring. sometimes if everyone has the same cards, the same Justin Herberts and Joe Burrows. Nobody's whipping out their Jonathan Taylor and Devontae Adam collections. They're all just trying to sell their Joe Burrow and Justin Herberts and Tua's and Patrick Mahomes.
Wait, can I interrupt your? I don't mean to interrupt. I will say local shows versus like the regional shows, like your Dallas card show, but like that Chicago show we went to recently, while it wasn't like Deal Central, I saw a lot of really cool like Jonathan Taylor collections, Devontae Adams collections, specifically because we were close to Wisconsin. But I imagine when you go to local shows, you get a little bit of different flavor. When you go to the regional shows, you're Dallas, you're right. All you see is the high end MJ, LeBron, Burrow, Herbert.
Yep. So that's my one con. My first con, though, would have been theft.
Oh,
Every single year you hear about, it was just at this last national, some dude went through a bunch of dollar bins and was stealing handfuls of cards and sneaking away and then going to another place. And like other people steal high end stuff, which is, I mean,
so stupid.
super stupid because you're stealing a serial numbered card. So if it pops up, somebody's going to know, and somebody's going to find out and somebody's going to be able to track it to you. So ridiculously stupid, but still people do it. Theft happens all the time. Anytime you get money into a situation or expensive things in a situation where people aren't really looking, you're going to have sticky finger people that don't want to do stuff honestly that are going to steal cards. It's unfortunate. It will not go away. It will never, literally, it will never go away for as long as there are card shows, unless it's like a small regional card show where everyone knows each other, there will be theft. So that's the unfortunate thing for card shows. My pros, number one, Aaron hit it, getting to meet people. It's really easy sometimes. Maybe not as much for Aaron and I because we talk about cards all the time, but I imagine it's easy for some of you that are watching this to feel like you might be the only person that that likes cards. Your wife doesn't like cards, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever, your husband, your priest, your teacher, I don't care who it is. They don't like cards. And so you feel like you probably have nobody to talk to, so you come on, you watch a YouTube video, maybe you drop a comment, but it's not the same as getting to meet people in person. So now you get to go to a card show. You get to actually meet people. You can come up and say hi to us. You can realize that Aaron's 6'5" and I'm 5'7", and you'll be like, wow, Nate's so short. And you can say that to my face. I don't care. And it's a good time. We've met a lot of really, really cool people, really nice people, and just got to talk to them at our booth for 20, 30 minutes at a time at the National, which we wouldn't get to if we weren't at the booth. And so now I see somebody's name on YouTube, I know who they are. I have a face to a name, which is really cool for me. So that's my one pro. And then my second pro is just like the vibe, I guess. There is a vibe about card shows, and they're different vibes. You go into a small card show and it's really kind of stale, and you're looking through boxes that might not have been looked through in a while, and you might be able to find really sweet deals on cards that aren't expected. In the National, it's like a really exciting, like everyone's here, the whole card community's here. There's going to be sweet cards to be seen, one of ones that you never get to see in person otherwise. Companies that are going to be there. So like for me, the vibe is cool, and differentiating vibes between big shows, small shows, medium shows. I mean, we went to the Chicago Spectacular. Not going to lie. Didn't love the vibe. Kind of hated it, actually. Usually I enjoy card shows, but that was a card show I did not enjoy. But the National I love, and going to little like, and I think it comes down to what you're expecting. You're expecting big things at the National, and it delivers. I was expecting big things at the Chicago Spectacular. It did not deliver. I'm going into a small card show in a bowling alley in Franklin, Wisconsin. I'm not expecting big things. So if you find a $15 card priced for $5, that's a win. That's an absolute win and a half.
I love the last point. Expectations play so much into how you feel about a show. I also had big expectations for the Chicago Sports Spectacular until I realized it wasn't run by the same people as the National. It seemed weird. And then we get in there and someone's getting dragged up at security when they shouldn't have been getting dragged up at security. And there's just a whole big thing that started the show really oddly. And then there was not many deals on top of it. But I will say, this has nothing to do with the people at attended the show. We saw a ton of our friends there and had a good time with them.
It's true.
But just in general, it's like you kind of felt like that it wasn't very card focused either, which I think hurt it. You go over there and once you start to feel like that the show promoters are like all about just the autograph signers, then it's kind of like, is this really where I'm supposed to be? But
and as card guys, do we even care about in-person autographs anyways?
no, I don't at all. But I know people do. I know people go to the shows for that reason. But just for myself, it didn't feel like that was.
And you should have the ideal show would have autograph signers of major guys, not retired players from 60 years ago.
Hey, Peyton Manning was there.
If you have, that's nice. If you have new guys and then some old guys, have your Joe Namath and your Brett Favre and your Peyton Manning and your Joe Burrow. That would be sweet. But then also,
that's a huge lineup.
Oh, well, I get it. I'm just saying it's nice to have a mix of young and old for autograph signers. You get a little bit of everything. But it's also nice when your card shows have some memorabilia, some vintage cards, some modern cards, some Pokemon, some whatever that new random thing is.
Nate, do you want to know what that sounds like?
What does it sound like?
Collectors Con to me going on this weekend in Tampa, Florida at the Tampa Convention Center. Jameel Millie Pop Shop is hosting along with others the Collectors Con, the second one. And I'm flying out today, the day that you're watching the episode, everyone, going down to Tampa, Florida to buy cards for charity thanks to SGC and whatnot. I have a $7,000 card budget. Very excited about that. To buy cards exclusively SGC slabs and raw cards to sell through whatnot on December 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern time. So if you're out there and you're wondering, how can I help Aaron with his quest to help kids for Camp Kesem and Nate and SlabStox, please join the stream on December 19th at 8 p.m. Eastern time on whatnot. And if you're wondering where the money is going, 100% of the proceeds is going to Camp Kesem. If you start following us after the summer, this past summer, we did a charity night at the National. Thanks to the whole sports card community, we were able to raise $127,000 for Camp Kesem, which sends kids to camp for free whose parents have or had cancer. So I'm very excited to do a holiday charity night and to get more money to these kids during the holiday season and send more kids to camp. So please do that December 19th. Join myself. Everything's going to start at $1 auctions, and SGC is throwing in 80 free card grades to people that buy throughout the stream. Total, not 80 to each person. That'd be a lot, but it is like $2,400 worth of grading for free. So excited about that, pumped about it, excited to go down. And that's all I got for Collectors Con. But if you're in the Tampa area, please come or at least watch our video that we're going to put up so you can feel like you're there, even though you aren't actually there. But it'll be like you're almost there.
Yeah, should be amazing time. I'm excited to see the video from it. There will be a video, correct?
Oh, absolutely, it's gonna be a video. I'm gonna start with my $7,000, and it's just gonna get taken out on every single card I buy, and we'll see how fast I can get to zero and what cards I buy. But super pumped.
It'll be 2 cards, one Anthony Davis Prism Silver PSA 10, and one Jayson Tatum Prism Silver PSA 10,
which are both not SGC slabs or raw cards. Look at Nate hijacking the charity night. Yeah, we can dream. But great episode. Very excited about this first episode. Nate, thanks for doing a lot of research for this and for joining me. I hope everyone out there enjoyed it. If you have any comments, suggestions, what you want to see, what you don't want to see. I heard someone last episode say, man, I love your guys' content, but I can't watch YouTube because Nate just touches his beard all day. If you don't want to see that, drop a comment and Nate's going to shave it all the way off.
Only for charity.
Only for charity, says it, and I'm not.
I already trimmed it. You should have seen the pile of beard hair on the ground.
I don't think anyone wants to see that, but we see that you have a lot less hair on your face.
It's a big pile. Also, shout out SlabStox. Vincent did quite a bit of research on this episode. So
yes, not just Nate, SlabStox. Vincent, our awesome intern who was at the National. I'm sure you all have seen him by now on videos and in Miami too. But that's it. Episode 1 in the books. Thank you all for joining. We will see you next week. Same time, same place, Thursday on YouTube and podcast. Be sure to watch, subscribe, like, follow, whatever you have to do to make sure you see the next episode. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all next time.
See you guys.